for the most part, you did it, you made it, you graduated high school, you did good, so that's that. And then you're an adult now, you're out there in the real world and stuff, and of course, being how you are and how you perceive things so differently, as of now, you don't have a car. You don't. Dear Quenya, you have been through a lot in your 25 years of existence. You have been through a lot. You had trouble with walking. You had trouble with math in school and still struggle with math. You struggle with reading in school, but you overcame that. You were a good speller. You have such a creative mind. You wrote creative stories. Your favorite video games are Nintendo. You love Super Mario. You love watching Disney. You are such a creative person that has such a different perspective on the world. You see the world so differently. You perceive the world so differently. And all of that is fine when you're growing up, but then you come to a certain age where it's like, okay, does being creative and loving Disney, Nintendo, Super Mario, right, all these creative stories, does it matter out there in the real world? And you don't know. You don't really never know if that stuff is important or you should change how you are to fit the need of society. And for a while, you had a rocky bump with that. You really did. It was really, really, really rocky, and it was some days where you thought you were just going to just cave in. It got so bad to that point. And in between all of that, you had to deal with the fact that you were gay. You had to, well, not so much as that you had to deal with it because I guess in the grand scheme of things, you came to terms with the fact that you were gay pretty quickly than most people would. But what you really had to deal with was your parents. You really did thought that your parents were going to be so upset with you for being gay. And you kept on that turmoil for the longest, and pretty much up until the time you were 23. And you finally came out and told them, and it's just, that is what it is. That is what it is. And it was just that. And all through high school, you had a very bumpy struggle with high school. Because when you started high school, you couldn't really adjust to it. You felt like everybody put this immense pressure on you that, okay, you gotta get these amount of credits, you gotta take these amount of classes, you can't miss this amount of days, you can't miss these amount of days, or you're gonna automatically fail the class, and you just felt that pressure, that weight on your shoulders, and it wore you down. It really, really did. It wore you down almost to the point of breakage. It really, really did. And even in between all of that with high school, you had to deal with the fact that your uncle was gone, that your uncle from your dad's side of the family had passed away. I want to believe it was within your first year of high school your uncle passed away, and you had to come to terms with that. Well, actually, while you were trying to come to terms with that, it had broke you down so badly that I can't really say what I really want to say on YouTube, but let's just say it broke you down really, 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 really badly. It really did. It broke you down so badly, and you had to find a way to swim up to the top and just just make it through. And for the most part, after that point, you kind of just I guess sort of made it through with some rocky bumps every now and then, and the bumps would not get easy and whatnot. But for the most part, you did it, you made it, you graduated high school, you did good. So that's that. And then you're an adult now. You're out there in the real world and stuff, and of course, being how you are and how you perceive things so differently, as of now, you don't have a car, you don't have a license, and you and your dad, y'all were like this, kept going at each other about driving because how you perceive driving and how your dad perceived driving are two totally completely different perceptions, and it just it just kept clashing and clashing and clashing. And even till this day, you still don't have a car and you still don't have a license because your perception of driving is just different in how the world perceives driving. And that ain't nothing against you. That's just how you perceive driving, how you see driving, how you go at it. And it's not like you didn't try because you did try. You tried multiple times, but your brain just perceived driving just totally different, and it's just not your fault. It's really, really not. It's really, 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 really not. And then fast forward a few more years after you done graduated, you got your first job at a grocery store, and that had its bumps and rocks too. It really, really did. And at the end of the day, the store closed down, so I had no choice but to quit anyway, because the store was going to shut down, even though the people there didn't let anybody know that the store was closing, but it was, and they didn't give us any heads up, and I guess that's just the nature of working. They'll have to give you a heads up and let you know, hey, y'all should be thinking about finding somewhere else to work because this job won't be here no more, and that's that. So then fast forward a few more years later, and the big ta-da happened. You finally got a boyfriend. You finally got a boyfriend, and you had to like try to hide it from your parents. You did. You had to like try to sneak in the closet to do the phone calls. You had to try to like sneak around and text him and stuff like that. And that went on for a couple of years, and then it got to the point where it was like, okay, time for us to be together. It's time for me to tell my parents I have a boyfriend, and you did it. But at first it turned out to be such a big explosion of emotions and tears and just I guess in their mind they're thinking I'm making the biggest mistake of my life. I can't believe you're doing this to us. And it was not a good time period. And then fast forward a couple more years later, got another job. Ended up having to quit that one because I needed more hours and all this and that. And my parents finally came around and saw for themselves like, If you're happy, we're happy. If they're treating you good and doing good by you and not throwing you out and stuff, then hey, it's good enough for us. So yes, you may have a lot of struggles along the way, and trust me, you really do struggle. You, it seems like you always have to have that big struggle before you can finally see the light and be like, hey, everything's gonna be okay. But you really do gotta go through that struggle before you can finally say, hey, everything gonna be okay. And you sure have been through a lot. You sure have, but I guess compared to other people in this world, you're so better off than how it could be. So I guess you gotta take whatever, blessings that you have and just take it and be grateful for it and don't let the little stuff bother you. But hey, like you said before, your brain perceives the world and things differently. So who knows? But at the end of the day, you should try to just take the blessings whenever comes your way and just be thankful for them.